The movie begins with a man hammering nails and spreading salt around a dungeon entrance. We can hear a woman's voice from within, pleading for help and mercy to be freed. Yet, the man continues, giving one last look to ensure everything is secure. Then, he mounts his horse and rides away over the mountains. We see that a lot of time passes, and the woman who was imprisoned, a witch, fueled by the power of the red moon, escapes her dungeon with a plan to bring all sorts of evil to the land. After this, in a small town, the bells start ringing, where we soon meet a young man named Billy, who goes looking for his teacher, Gregory, to inform him that a little girl is infected in the church. But because he's drinking, he doesn't listen and says he just wants to stay there. Another man joins the conversation, trying to intimidate Gregory to help Billy convince him to go, and then starts fighting with him. Unaware that Gregory is very skilled, he easily takes him down without spilling a drop of his drink. Even though he's drunk, Gregory leaves the tavern to help the possessed-looking girl. When he arrives, the girl confronts Gregory, speaking in a demonic tongue, telling him that Malkin has returned and is ready to face him again. But Gregory, not believing her, sprinkles silver powder over her head, causing the dark shadow to leave her body, bringing the girl back to normal. Her family quickly takes her away, thanking Gregory as they leave. Gregory, alongside Billy, faces the famous witch queen, Malkin. Gregory quickly cuts the bell's rope, trying to make it fall on her, but fails as she swiftly dodges and turns into a beast attacking them both. Billy then throws a silver net over her, and with Gregory's help, they try to hold her down. Malkin starts to weaken because of the silver chain and falls outside. They seemingly manage to capture her, putting her in a cage. But before locking it, she grabs Billy with her tail and poisons him with her claws, killing him. Gregory sets the cage on fire, trying to kill her, but she grows stronger after killing Billy and breaks free, escaping. Gregory shouts that he will find her again. Afterwards, in another place, a young man named Tom lives in a village not far from the city. He leads a peaceful life with his family, far from enchantments, legends, and magic. But it seems he's not content with his calm life. He seeks more. While wandering around, we see Tom in the forest, really focused, trying to throw knives at a deer. But he can't hit it, and at the same moment, his younger sister calls him back to take care of the pigs. She tells him that he'd never be able to hit the deer because he never managed before. So why would he succeed now? He then tells her that he doesn't want a stagnant life like that, feeding pigs forever. And he speaks with conviction that one day, he'll leave. Suddenly, Tom's hand starts trembling, as he has visions of other people and spirits about which he has no idea what they mean. After that, the man he saw in his visions arrives in his village. This man is Gregory, and he was there to talk to Tom's father to let him be the new member of his team as an apprentice. Because there was a prophecy saying that a seventh son of another seventh son would have to become a new witch hunter with him. Tom's mother, having no say in the matter, then allows her son to train with Gregory. But before he leaves, she tells him that he can only find all the strength he needs within himself and gives him a stone necklace. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Malkin returns to her lair and suddenly discovers that her sister, named Lizzie, was severely injured, her face burned by Gregory. She then restores her sister's beauty and starts with her to plan revenge against him. The two of them then enter their dark and gloomy lair, which was destroyed, full of dust and spirits. Then, with her renewed magic, Malkin transforms the lair's interior and makes it spotless. In the city, we see some men gather around a woman named Alice, claiming that she is a witch and that they need to burn her. Tom, seeing this, recognizes her immediately from his visions and steps in, pulling her away from the people, saying that he was Master Gregory's apprentice and that he would do justice himself by burning her. Then, to confuse them even more, he orders them to provide some things to use for her execution. But, having reached a certain distance from them, Tom frees the woman, letting her go. Then the scene shifts, and we find out who she really is. She enters the witch's lair and is shocked to see her mother, healed and fine, without understanding how it happened. That's when Malkin enters, and she meets her aunt. However, Alice, who had a human father. Malkin realizes this only when she gets close to her, discovering she's only half witch. Meanwhile, Tom and Gregory travel by night, and along the way, Tom asks several times what happened to Gregory's former apprentice. But then he starts trembling again and has visions of Malkin, but this time he cannot stand how strong the vision is and faints. When he wakes up, it's already daytime, and he's on a boat with Gregory and his assistant, resembling a troll named Tusk, who is also a very loyal friend to him. Gregory then arrives home and begins teaching Tom everything about the blood moon. He explains he needs to learn a lot in order to defeat Malkin, with his first lesson being to stay in his quarters during the night. But he can't do it, since in his room he hears a call for help and follows the voice, disobeying his master. He heads towards the sound and finds inside another room a large suit of armor. When he raises the helmet, there is only a skull inside. So when he is about to leave, the armor comes to life and starts chasing him. He tries to run, but the armor begins fighting him. However, he struggles terribly because he wasn't ready yet. Gregory then arrives and subdues it, ending the fight himself by destroying the armor. He tells Tom that he can't be the seventh son because he was too weak and starts doubting the boy, saying he wouldn't have the strength needed to fight against evil. However, Tom, already angry, throws a sword in Gregory's path, nearly hitting him. This impresses his master, who praises his aim and begins to teach him everything about Malkin and her allies. At this moment, we briefly see Malkin calling more allies for her war. And while she was doing this, Alice, seeing it all, tries to warn her mother that her sister was dangerous. But Liz assures her that she would never let her get hurt and that they would be safe as long as they were with her. After that, on another day, Tom meets Alice once more. He was by the riverbank while she was bathing. At a certain moment, when they both touch hands, a blue spark lights up between them. Tom then asks what that was, and she explains that when a wizard touches for the first time under moonlight, the man she should hold hands with forever, that blue spark would appear. With that, Tom discovers that Alice is a witch, but he doesn't care because he really likes her. And in the middle of the conversation, they get closer as if they're about to kiss. But Tusk, who was with them, makes a noise and interrupts them. She asks what he was, and he replies that he was almost a monster and was having a nightmare. However, in the meantime, he discovers that she was actually a witch, because when he turns to talk more with her, she was no longer there. The next morning, Gregory and Tom are summoned to the community to fight a beast that no other man dared to approach. The creature is like a giant bear and starts fighting them. However, Gregory throws silver powder on it, turning it back to its human form. After a certain fight, he manages to win with Tom's help, and to finish the monster once and for all, he tells Tom to burn it. But he hesitates and says he can't because he's not like Gregory, so he steps back. After Gregory eliminates the monster, he yells at Tom to stop being cowardly and useless. With this, Tom leaves, and Gregory, also upset, heads in another direction. After a while with Alice, Tom wakes up from a brief vision he had of Malkin consuming his master, taking him into darkness and devastating the whole city in flames. He then decides he needs to go back to him and help defeat Malkin. By morning, Tom finds Gregory again, who reveals he once loved a witch, Malkin, saying that she wasn't always evil, but she let hatred and power control her. So Gregory married another woman, and when she found out, she couldn't stand to see him happy and killed his wife. He also says he had the chance to kill her but chose to show mercy, so he captured her and locked her in a dungeon. Gregory then shows his wife's grave and says that she is the reason he is so hard on Tom, then advises him to never make the same mistake he did, saying that when they find the witch, they should kill her without hesitation. At another moment, Liz informs her sister that she found Gregory, her apprentice, near their lair, and says they're arriving. Then Malky orders them to capture them, saying she could do whatever she wanted with the apprentice, but she wanted Gregory alive. Liz then transforms and goes after them. During Gregory's walk with Tom and Tusk, suddenly a huge monster appears. Gregory says it's a troll, so Tom asks how to fight such a big creature. Gregory simply replies that you don't fight it. You run from it, then he tells them to run. They run, more like rolling actually, and manage to reach a small cave entrance. Tusk even tries to fight the monster but is easily defeated. Gregory and Tom manage to reach the other side of the small cave and find themselves with a cliff. Down below, there was a river, and a man was fishing on a raft. So, to avoid being caught by the monster, they jump into the river. On the raft, Gregory tells Tom not to worry because trolls don't like water. However, just as he finishes saying that, the monster jumps to catch them, almost landing on them. Tom is then grabbed by the monster and sinks with it, but he manages to break free and then kills it by striking his sword behind its head. However, they both fall over the waterfall, but luckily, Tom survives the fall. Then, as Tom rests from his recent battle, Liz finds him and tries to kill him. But when she brings the sword close to his chest and touches the necklace his mother had given him, it reacts and repels the witch's blow. She then tells him that the necklace belonged to her queen and flies away. After that, Tom climbs the mountain back up and finds Gregory sitting by a fire meditating and waiting for him. He then praises him for destroying that indestructible monster. However, Tom, a bit worried, comments about the stone he was wearing around his neck and asks its meaning. Gregory immediately looks scared, but also happy as he says that the stone he carried was Malkin's, and that this object made her extremely powerful and nothing would have a solution if it got into her hands. Then he asks where Tom got that necklace. Tom replies that his mother gave it to him before he left to train with him. Gregory tells him that he only managed to defeat Malkin the first time because another witch had taken that jewel from around her neck. Then Tom, a bit confused, understands that the witch was his mother, and now knows why he was protected from Lizzie. Also thinking about the fact that he is half wizard. Gregory comments that it's ironic, as the apprentice who goes to hunt witches with him is a witch too. He also says that explains why he has visions. After this, in another scene, Malkin asks why Urag, one of her servants, the one who looked like a bear and was defeated by Gregory, is late. Alice then tells her that Gregory saw him burned. Then Alice asks Malkin to spare Tom, as he was good and not like his master. Malkin then instructs Alice to take the stone from Tom and says that if she succeeds in this, she will spare him. After that, Malkin and his allies decide to head into the city to show a bit of their fury. They assume their beastly forms and begin attacking the people, declaring this place now a hell, and start destroying everything. Liz and the others also jump into action, killing some people. But in that moment, Tom's mother was in the city. She puts her other daughter in a safe place and goes to help control the chaos using her powers. She manages to kill one of the henchmen, but Malkin notices her presence and goes after her. When she realizes it's the same witch who stole her necklace, she attacks Malkin, but she is easily overpowered. Malkin then mocks her, saying she was a fool because she took away the only thing that could protect her and gave it to her son. Then he kills her, saying he would also kill her son because he had her necklace. Meanwhile, Gregory and Tom were getting closer to the witches. Suddenly, they reunite with Tusk, who tells Gregory that he senses something wrong in the forest. Gregory then asks Tom to stay there while he and Tusk go ahead to check what's wrong. As soon as Gregory leaves, they meet again, intending to get her necklace, wanting to save him because she loves him. Then suddenly, Gregory returns and throws a weapon at her, pinning her to a tree. But again, Tom defends her and sets her free, allowing her to escape. Gregory then shows that she had taken his necklace and was not to be trusted. Tom runs after her, very angry, but only finds Malkin's henchmen. Gregory and Tusk arrive shortly after and start fighting. Tom gets in trouble and Gregory tries to help him but fails, and he falls. Then Gregory is captured and taken away. After everyone leaves, we see Tom on the ground, but alive. He's having visions of his mother being killed by Malkin. Then he's awakened by her spirit telling him to get up and find his strength within to defeat Malkin, because she failed, but he will not. She encourages him more, and then disappears. Tom then gets up and sees that Tusk is also still alive, and follows him to find his master Gregory and his necklace. Malkin then gathers all her henchmen in the center of the Red Moon to now end the era of witch killings by killing or involving Gregory in the darkness. With the power of the necklace now around her neck, she wraps her tail around Gregory, and when she's almost succeeding, she runs and grabs her necklace thinking Tom was dead. Now without the necklace, Malkin's power weakens and Gregory wakes up. Seeing she won't succeed, she throws him against a rock. She becomes a beast and flies to attack them, but his mother also transforms and attacks Malkin, giving her daughter a chance to escape. Meanwhile, one of Malkin's followers turns into a dragon to face Gregory. But cleverly, he insults him, saying he doesn't have the courage to fight in human form to at least have honor. The warlock fulfills his request, turns human, loses the fight, where Gregory finally defeats him with his own sword. Meanwhile, Tom, who was already there, ends up finding his necklace under a column. He puts it on and becomes stronger, thus managing to kill all the other henchmen. Meanwhile, Malky kills her own sister, calling her a traitor as she did with the other witch, then enters her lair. At that moment, Gregory decides it's time to face Malky once and for all and tells Tom he'll do it alone. Inside, she asks Gregory if he ever truly loved her. He replies that he did, but he no longer feels that way, not even hatred. He then draws a knife to stab her, but hesitates for a second. She then surprises him by attacking, but Tom, who had also entered, throws a knife and hits the witch, leaving her almost dead. Without delay, they set her on fire, killing her once and for all. Sometime later, Gregory marks Tom, declaring him the new spell hunter. Next, we see Tom getting ready to leave and go on his way. He then meets Alice and chats a bit about his decision to be a hunter. She says he can do whatever he thinks is best as she knows how he feels about her, and then disappears, saying they'll meet again. As he was about to leave, Gregory looks at Tom and says that this is his new home now, and that he is the one who will actually be leaving. Before departing, he also leaves Tusk to assist him. The movie ends with Tom and Tusk hearing the bells ringing, now calling for the new witch and monster hunter.